Good evening. I'd like to call our meeting to order tonight. Thank everybody for coming out. I'd like to lead us in our prayer. And right from our prayer, we'll go into the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand. United States of America, republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible. Mr. Higginbotham, call roll, please.
President Logan,
Here.
Councilman Sullivan,
Here.
Councilman Davis,
Here.
Councilman Hogg.
Here.
You have a quorum, Mr. President.
Item 5 was approval of our agenda. In our pre-meeting, we had a short agenda, so I'll make a motion to approve our agenda as printed. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Sullivan. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Higginbotham.
President Logan,
Yes.
Councilman Sullivan,
Yes.
Councilman Davis,
Yes.
Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 6 is visitors to address our city council. We have one citizen who has formally addressed our council in the means and mechanism that's required, Mr. Joe Calvin. Come on up, Mr. Calvin. Thank you for showing up. And again, this is visitors to address. This is totally separate from public comment. Public comment's at number 13, just in case somebody was wondering. So, how you doing, Mr. Calvin?
I'm good, thank you, Mr. Logan. I'm gonna be quick and brief. I'm not here to complain, argue. I don't have no issues with the city, so we're good. Just to let everybody know, I'm just here to introduce myself. To those that don't know, I am Joe Calvin. I am running for Tuscaloosa County Board of Education District 3 this coming election. As we all know, I did a lot of deliberating, thinking, praying, and, decided I'd make this run. I think it's time, our county system, in my opinion, we have a lot of issues in our school systems. Not just currently the schools in the city of Northport, but the entire school system throughout the county, probably throughout the state. There's financial issues. But it really gets down to our district, District 3, which does encompass a large area of Northport, as well as up north of us, the north side. Our community, the people, we've all heard them. They have issues. They've been crying out for somebody just to hear them out, listen to the problems. I feel like they don't get listened to. So, being a part of this community, the schools, all my children have went to the schools here in Northport, from Riverside, Fossa Vestavia Elementary to County High. One's still currently in, the other two graduated. But being involved with the parents, the community, football boosters, president, you see a lot of the inner workings of these schools and where they went from, say, 15 years ago to today. And being involved there, I'm not seeing progress made in the schools. I mean, it's almost a decrease from academics to perhaps athletics to even just school behavior amongst kids, students, teachers. It's almost like we've lost a lot of pride in this community, in these schools. At one time in Northport, you know, County High that was a name everybody knew. But it's fading off for some reason. And you know, so I'm just, you know, I'm one man gonna go downtown and try. I'm not there to argue with you or fight the county board. You know, you're gonna have to go down, I'm gonna listen and hear them out. I don't know everything they have, why they've done some of the things they've chose to do. But I think, you know, we're gonna all have to work together, and being working together is gonna be me, the county board, have gotta learn to work together representing this district as well as the whole county. But also the people of this community are gonna have to work with us, and I'm hoping the city of Northport, you know, I'd like to be able to come talk to the city of Northport, say, here's where we're at. Here's why we gotta do what we gotta do, you know, what are your thoughts on it? Because actually, you know, let's face it, the schools in this community, in this city, affect this city dramatically. You know, there's a lot of people wanna differentiate the two, and they are two different organizations or governmental groups, but let's face it, I know when I grew up, schools dictated your city, your community. It makes a world of difference. You know, if you got great schools, you're gonna have a great city, great community, great neighborhoods. When your schools start declining, everything falls behind it and declines also. I don't wanna see that happen here. I'm not sure I can go to the county and make change. I can't, you know, wave a wand and we're all financially gonna be stable again. We all know where that's at. Most people have a good idea of where they are financially. Not good. It's gonna take time to build it back, but we're all gonna need to work together to get there. You know, so I really think what we need as a county board member, as well as being able to come here and communicate with the city on the county board where we're at, I wanna be out in the community with the parents, with these students. I don't see that happening anymore with the board. It's almost like decisions are made, but there's no answers to the people of why. You know, all they're asking for, you know, in most cases and everything, like, just be honest with them, be truthful with the people. They elect you, so, you know, when they want to ask a question, don't turn away from them. I mean, just be honest with them and answer it. You know, I always think if you just, you know, do the right thing and be honest with people, whether it's something they agree on totally, if you'll explain it thoroughly to them, they have an understanding then. We're left with people in this community who don't have an understanding right now. They don't know why this school is being built and not this school is being built, because it doesn't get explained to them other than, well, there was an overcrowding issue. Well, we've had overcrowding issues for years everywhere. So, I mean, don't just use that as an excuse. I'm pretty sure there's some underlying other reasons why these things happen. So I just want to go forward and go, you know, if elected, just be honest with the people, you know, tell them where they stand. You know, there's nothing to hide. You know, I see no reason as a board member of the county system to hide it. And I really feel the county board should work tightly in a group situation with the city of Northport. Because let's face it, the majority of their schools are in the city of Northport. I mean, we should partner together to work together, no matter what the terms are or what people say about school systems, counties versus cities. They all have pluses and they all have negatives, you know, so I'm not gonna get into that. I've been asked several times what my thought is on a city school system, and I'm not gonna give them that answer. It's because I'm running for the county board is what I tell them. County school system. I'm there to work to make it as best as it can be. We've got to get back to having a little bit more, not just parent and community involvement and honesty, but we need to start setting our standards higher. You know, we're stuck on this last 10 years of average. We're average. Why in the world do we want to be average? Set our standards higher. Be better. I mean, whether it's academically or athletically, we have the students and children in these communities and parents that we can achieve more than what we're achieving. There is no doubt in my mind. You know, I did see the state scoring grades this year on the systems. I think Tuscaloosa city system and county system were neck and neck, 72, 73 for a state average. What 73 might be a point off, give me a take, I don't have it in front of me. Some people say, well, that's passing. Well, is passing good enough? I don't think it's good enough. You know, that's, to me, that once again, we're back to, we're setting our standards too low. Set them as high as you can. Set the bar up here. Let's strive to get here as a county system. What do we need? What do our administrators need? What do our teachers need? What do our coaches need? Let's address these issues instead of just turning from them. Because currently, I think that's what they're doing. And for some odd reason, especially when it comes to this side of the river, it just seems to always be year after year, this side of the river seems to get neglected. Now, whether it be at County High, North Side, Riverside, which I'm in agreement with most people, that is really something got to be done. You know, we find these millions to build schools, but that one never gets mentioned. It just gets bypassed, it gets walked right around. So, once again, appreciate y'all's time. I'm just here, you know, to let y'all know where I stand. Hope to work with each of you and that we can work as a team. Because what's good for the county system can be good for Northport. What's good for Northport can be good for us if we'll all work together to find some common ground. You know, I know where we need to be on this side of the river. I'm not saying we need to be getting more than a Sipsey Valley, a Holt, a Brookwood, a Hillcrest. I'm just saying they need to look upon us as we are part of this group. We're part of the Tuscaloosa County system. You know, and I tell everybody all the time, we have a 7A high school in the city of Northport, 32 of them in the state. One of them's right here. Right here we have one of the top 32 biggest schools in the state. Carries the name of the Tuscaloosa County school system. It ought to be their flagship. They ought to be promoting it. It ought to be doing everything they can, not just the county, but us on this side of the river should do everything we can to promote it to be that flagship school for the state of Alabama and to represent Northport. Even though it's, and once again, a county system, it is in the city. And you know, when people look at these schools, they think of Northport. They don't think of the Tuscaloosa County system. If you're moving to Northport, first thing you look at, what kind of schools is in there? Where's my kids going? I mean, people look at those things. I know I would. If I was starting over with young kids, that's where I'd be looking. What's the schools like? You know, so I own businesses, whatever it may be. I'm big into thinking that academic school is going to make a decision. Am I going to open a business or company in this town and have my workers live there and their kids go to school there? So I think it changes a lot of things when we have premier schools. I mean, I think it's been shown everywhere. So hopefully we can get there. It's going to take time. This is not, I tell everybody, this is not something we're all going to elect somebody and 1 year it's all better. That's not happening. It's going to take a long time to get things to where they need to be again. I mean, let's face it, financials is not a great thing for the county system right now. Got some decisions they're making right now that probably ain't in the best interest of a lot of us here, but we'll see where it goes. And with that being said, I just want to appreciate y'all letting me talk and speak tonight. Mayor Aaron, council members, Mr. Higginbotham, thank y'all very much, and I appreciate it.
Thank you, Joe. Good luck, and we know you've always been a supporter of Northport, and especially, so we hope to see you representing us. Item 7 is a second reading of an ordinance for conditional use Lot 1 Union Station. Mr. Stevens.
Yes, sir. This is for conditional use of a office warehouse at Lot 1 Union Station, a cul-de-sac off of Union Chapel Road. It received favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission. Last I heard, I believe it's a spec building, doesn't have a tenant unless that's changed. Okay. So.
All right, thank you, Scott. And I guess, Ron, by ordinance, we have to open the floor for a public hearing?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll open the floor for a public hearing. So if there's anybody here wanted to speak for or against the agenda item regarding 7A2, conditional use Lot 1 Union Station. All right, I'll close the floor. Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance granting the conditional use approval for an office warehouse at Lot 1 Union Station?
Move to approve.
That's a motion by Councilman Sullivan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Hogg. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Higginbotham.
Councilman Sullivan,
Yes.
Councilman Hogg,
Yes.
President Logan,
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Second item is a second reading of an ordinance for the conditional use of Lot 2 Union Station. Mr. Stevens.
Yes, sir. This is for conditional use of a mini storage or mini warehouse immediately adjacent to Lot 1. It's actually Lot 2R of Union Station, and it received favorable recommendation from the planning commission.
All right. By virtue of ordinance, we have to open the floor for a public hearing, so I hereby open the floor. Is there any member of the public wanted to speak for or against the conditional use request? All right, hearing none, I will close the floor. Is there a motion to adopt the ordinance granting the conditional use approval for a mini warehouse at Lot 2, Union Station?
Move to approve.
That's a motion by Councilman Sullivan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Davis. Any questions or comments? Hearing none, Mr. Higginbotham.
Councilman Sullivan.
Yes.
Councilman Davis.
Yes.
President Logan.
Yes.
Councilman Hogg.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Item 3 is the second reading of an ordinance ordering the demolition of an unsafe structure located at 5121 Northwood Lake Drive West. Mr. Stevens.
Yes, sir, this is the second reading to demolish or tear down this house at 5121 Northwood Lake Drive West. As discussed at the pre-meeting, we've yet to hear any feedback from the property owner unless there's someone here who wants to speak on that. I did just hear from a planning commission member right before the meeting that he does know the family, so we may talk some more, see if we can get a hold of them. And we'd like to, some alternative means to try to contact them just to make sure everyone is aware prior to going through with this.
Okay. All right. I guess also too, by virtue of ordinance, we have to open the floor for a public hearing. Is that right, Ron?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll open the floor for a public hearing regarding this agenda item. Is there any member of the public wanted to speak on behalf of the demolition requests? Come on up, folks. Please state your name and address for the record.
William Now, I live at 5217 Northwood Lake Drive West. If the ordinance goes on and passes, does the property turn over to Northport or just the demolition?
Yes, sir. Ron and Scott, you guys can chime in, I think, but let's say council approves this and then we go through with the demolition. Of course, we'll have to bid it out by ordinance, and then once it's bidded out, I think we'll put a lien against the property. Is that right, Ron?
That's correct. The
Okay.
property would still be owned by the
Yeah.
property owners, but the city would have a lien for the cost of demolishing the house.
I mean, I just wondered if there's any way somebody could buy the house as is
Well,
from the city of Northport.
oh, so,
This
all right, so
man-
you want the city to buy it?
Well, no, I thought maybe the property had to turn over to the city.
Oh, okay,
for you
yes,
to
sir.
be able to do what you're gonna do.
No, sir. In this case, like Mr. Davis was explaining, house gets torn down, we will simply put a lien on the cost for demolition, and of course, we'll tie it back to the property owner, but that's pretty much it. And once the house is torn down, then we would still do some perpetual maintenance, because now you may have the possibility for an overgrown lot. So,
You got that right
You know.
now.
so I hope that
Okay,
answers.
No, I just wondered if there was any way, if somebody wanted to buy the house, if it's fixable. In
I
other
would-
words, dealing with y'all, I mean, nothing personal, dealing with y'all, you got nothing to do with it.
No, sir. I think if you wanted to try to contact the owners, which we've tried at length, I think staff's done a really effective job trying to contact the owner through a normal channels, and just with no luck. So if you feel like you want to purchase that house, but
No, I had somebody that was interested in it, and I told him I'd come in here and I'd ask him.
from the pictures, it looks like it need a little work, a lot of work.
Hey, it's been that way for years.
Yes, sir.
It's a shame they let it get like that. Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am. Please state your name and address for the record.
Kay Holden, 3010 Natchez Landing Court. I live in Northwood Lake subdivision, right down from this house. This house has been in this situation for numerous years, beyond 5. It's been abandoned. We'd just like to know, can we get a deadline on this home, because it keeps dragging. I have a little bit of personal information I've found out about the home and the homeowner. I have to check the validity of it, but he has kept up his mortgage payment. He has kept up his property tax payment. However, from what I understand through hearsay, is he doesn't want the home.
Okay.
He's going to let it be foreclosed
Yeah.
on. So this could drag out for yet another year to 2 years. So with that, can we have a deadline from the city, possibly at the next council meeting, on when we'll resolve this and condemn it?
Yes, ma'am. before you leave, Ms. Holden, can you get that information, once you determine the validity as far as the contact for the owner, maybe to Mr. Stevens' office? And I think at the end of the day, if the owner is still paying mortgage, but the house is in almost disrepair, I'm assuming I hadn't been there physically, but looking at the pictures, it's in pretty bad shape.
It is.
And
And I think at one time we had squatters at some point.
mm-hmm,
So with that, we don't want that to happen again either.
mm-hmm.
So, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
All
Thank
we
you.
do.
Mr. President, here's what I would ask. Make sure all that information gets to Scott. Let him, unless council disagrees, and I would say, if you're not able to come up with anything by the following meeting, our next meeting, then add it back. Unless anybody has an objection with that. At least try to contact the owner.
All right, so, well, first, is there anyone else here to speak? I know we've got our public hearing still open. Is there anyone here to speak for this particular item? Okay. I'll hereby close the public hearing. All right, so now I think Councilman Sullivan had a couple ideas in trying to move the process forward, maybe giving it a couple weeks with Mrs. Holden's new information that she may have to maybe get to staff. And Councilman Davis, I don't know if you wanted to kind of chime in what you think you may want to do regarding the demo.
Well, I know that this piece of property either needs to be repaired or demoed, but I would like to find one other means of communication, you know, other than a certified letter, because a lot of times, certified letters have to be signed for. So, you know, just a letter and maybe some information that Ms. Holden has. Get in touch with them and let's do something the next council meeting.
All right, so is it the wishes of the council maybe to table this particular item for 2 weeks, or to allow staff to kind of communicate through other channels, right? Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. Council, okay. All right. We've closed the public hearing. I will, Councilman Davis, unless you just want to make that particular note for public record regarding how you want to handle that as far as tabling it.
Yeah, I just want to table it until we get more information on the situation, on the property owners, and form some line of communication with them other than what we've done so far. So.
Okay. Thank you, Councilman.
Councilman Davis, do you want this to be on the agenda of the next council meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
so that way we don't have to re-advertise.
Yes, sir.
All right. New business is 8A1 is the first reading of an ordinance amending the Northport Code to allow a one-time move for tattoo parlors. Mr. Stevens.
Yes, sir. As the council may know, in 2013, the council passed an ordinance regulating certain businesses, among them tattoo shops and parlors. It put a limit on their location to be C6 zone, McFarland Boulevard essentially.